more programs inspired by the mission of this movement. My name is Lena Gurba, and I'm a life coach, and I work with women. And today's program is designed to give all of you the tools to thrive in the very new environment that we're currently in. And I see you started chatting and sharing where you're coming from. I live on the east coast of Long Island, close to New York. And I'm recording this program so that we can share it with others later on. So please respond via chat and keep your microphones on mute. That would be best. And hopefully we'll have an interactive session. I will be asking you some questions, getting some feedback from you. And hopefully you'll stay past this session with me. And I would love to start sharing the presentation to help me guide through this. And I think you can see me. You can see me well, right? Thumbs up. You can see the hello from Illinois. Hello from West Coast. Program 2021 for success. 20 was a hard year for so many. And let's make 21 and onward a better year for all of us. Here's what I would love to cover today. Why we think a little bit different about planning. Why there is a paradigm shift. Why we need to reconsider how we've been living and maybe borrow from some of the other toolkits going forward. We'll talk about manifestation of visualization and action. A lot of people are, and myself included, have been trapped in that paradigm of manifestation. Let's peel that onion a little bit and see if there is something else that is at play. And then I will give you the meat of the framework, the meat of the program, and share some of the intimate tips, because I've tested for 2 years. I have not always been a life coach. I lived a life of a corporate American woman. I've spent 20 plus years on Wall Street in financial services. And only the past 3 years, I decided to remake myself. So I'll share some tips of what I've tested, what worked for me. The wisdom that I'm sharing is over 2,500 years old. I haven't made this up. I just studied it and tested on my own. And I invite you to do that as well. And then I'll talk about the next steps, because we have 5 more sessions after this, and hopefully we will go deeper into each of the components to give you really power and ammunition to proceed. Why a new paradigm shift? Why new? All of a sudden, we live for so long in the good old, very materialistic world governed by the spirit of earth, the spirit of matter, where accumulation, wealth, buying properties, buying houses, homes, cars, that worked perfectly fine for us. And we became very materialistic in that. And the reason being, it's a new age. We're welcoming a new era, a dawn that started at the end of the last year, 2020, with some auspicious alignments that were in the stars, something that has been prophesized by many different spiritual philosophies and cultures. It is the new age. It's the age of Aquarius, the age of air fluidity. And air is something that is not like land. You cannot divide air. We all breathe it. Air is all, and we are all in that together. It's a very different, it's the age that sometimes is called a golden age of humanity. The age of spirituality, an age of oneness, the wellness of all beings. It also it's a new beginning of widespread healing that is still to come. And we might see the rise of more social programs, the bigger emphasis on taking care of one another. Wellness is very much in the spirit of the Age of Aquarius. That means that even with the dark age still ahead, there's something truly magnificent on the horizon. And it is not a one day, it doesn't happen overnight. We're very different beings to survive and thrive in the age that is upon us. We have to change. And 2021 will be the year of forced change. And forced is only to accelerate us. It's the entire life force is ushering us to make the changes that we know deep in our hearts that we need to make. We've been just dragging our feet for so long, and there is no more time to postpone. There's no more time to put it away. A little bit more, if you think about the Aquarius, it's the water bearing. It's a water bearer. It's eternally giving life, giving eternally spiritual food to the world. It's very different food. It's and it's also because it's very fluid. It's air science. It's less reliant on traditional structures. It's less doing the 9 to 5. It is more reliant on technology, and we're going to be seeing a lot of new technology coming onto the forefront. There's more flexibility. There is also more power to the individual, and we already see there is a fight for sovereignty. It's not going to be a pretty fight, but it is beginning. It is the individuation. It's the freedom to choose your own reality based on what aligns with your soul. But it's a learning process. We'll have to learn to individuate, to become an individual as a part of the collective, because the emphasis on we versus I. But it's very progressive, forward-thinking, visionary, rebellious, innovation. It's eccentric, but also very humanitarian, valuing each person's individuality, and at the same time holding and taking care of each other. So the transit is never easy. We're going to go through some economic strife. We're going to go through some hard times. And we're in the tunnel, light tunnel, that the universe is guiding us through it. So that is the prefaces why we have to be different, why we have to rethink how we operate, how we take action, because 2021 is the year of action. But the difference is how we're going to take that action. And what I would love to walk you through using very, very simple, in the traditional Tibetan, for instance, in all traditional philosophies or spiritual lineages, you need to be able to explain very difficult concepts using very simple tools, kitchen tools. It should make sense in the kitchen. If it doesn't apply in real life. I'm a very pragmatic woman, so I believe things, and I believe in spirituality when it's tangible, when it improves people's life, and it's not just esoteric concepts somewhere out there. So they say that you have to hear this truth 3,000 times to understand it. This is how much we are wired to think very different. We think upside down. And the more you hear it, the more you get it. But it's it changes your mind gradually. But if you hear, they also say, if you hear this truth once, you are extremely fortunate. And if you share it with others, you're even more fortunate. So I'm going to be asking you simple questions, and you can just chat box answer. What is this? I know you all know. It is a pen, right? It is what it is. It looks like a pen. It must be a pen. There you have it, a writing tool. And awesome. Naomi went even further. Power. Yes, it gives us power. So this is a pen. I have a dog. The dog, just like that on the picture. I know Kim has a dog. If I called my Rosa and I showed her the pen, what do you think Rosa would do? What do you think Rosa would see? Yeah, a chew toy. Rosa doesn't see a pen. My dog does not see a pen. Something in the dog that she doesn't understand that this is a pen, and we can all get together and get the highest minds and professors and doctors and scientists and try to convince Rosa that this is a pen. Instead of chewing it, you can do so many other things with it. Do you think that would help? I doubt. So Rosa sees a pen as a chew toy. I see it as a pen. If there was ants crawling around here, and I would put this on the table, the ants will probably see this as a mountain to climb, right? It will be a mountain for the ant. Now, what if, so everybody sees something else with this simple functional object. It's functioning differently for everybody. And if I put this on the table and we all leave the room, humans, dogs, ants, and I just leave the room, we all leave it on the table very visibly. What does this then become? What is then this? We're puzzled, right? Yes, symbol, a memory, a thing. It's nothing. It's nothing. It is devoid of its penness, chutoiness, a mountain. It is devoid. It is empty. It is pure potential. It is simply a potential to be something. And you know what Buddhists call this emptiness? And emptiness, it's not a darkness somewhere, or it's not being devoid of thoughts, or life is an illusion and nothing is real and it's a game. It's some sort of a emptiness is the keys to our happiness. That nothing, it is what it is from its own side. It doesn't come from its own side. If it's nothing, it is empty. If it's pure potential, then this penness must be coming from where? Does it come onto me or it comes from me? Who makes this a pen or a chew toy or a mountain? Yeah, there's got to be something here. It's like starting the car. Sometimes the car starts, sometimes it doesn't when you stick the key. So it's not the key that turns the car. I don't want to make it more difficult than it is. I want to keep it very simple. But what makes it is our mental seeds. And we have a whole warehouse of these mental seeds. Everything we think, say, or do is recorded 24/7 and stored. So the seers when they see very deep in their meditations, they see how there is some little object from our mind literally goes onto the object like a picture to make this a pen, a chew toy, or a mountain. So it comes from here, from my own computer, from my own consciousness, from my own mind. And in the East, they call it karma. In the West, we call it our belief systems. But it comes from us. We project and create the reality from our own warehouse of mental seeds. We make this a pen. Now, what if I decide to make, instead of this pen, and that's what I was doing for years, what if I close my eyes and really strongly decide to make, I don't know, a stick of gold. Gold's really in value these days. And I would sit there for hours, use the visualization, use all sorts of techniques to create gold out of it. And then I open my eyes, it's still a pen. So something else is at work. Something else creates the potential of this to be a stick of gold, a pen, or a chew toy. And that's what I want to explain further. It's not just positive thinking. It's not just imagination. It's not just a will and strong desire that creates this pen. So, So let's peel this a little bit more. Let's peel this a little bit more. It is a difficult concept, and please, please stick around because it starts to make more and more sense. And this is the basis of every tradition there is out there that has a full path of clearing all the unhappiness within ourselves. How you make a pen, how you make anything in your life, how you create it, is the secret source of the framework that I will share with you. I had this slide with me because I wanted to stress this point about acting and manifesting or visualizing. You know, in corporate America, there is one currency other than the salary that is very valuable, and it is called a title. It is a status, it's a label. When you have a certain title, you have certain benefits, you have certain authority, you know, at least the VP said it or executive director said it. So there is some status that is attached to it. And I remember I was working at MetLife, and for 2 years, all I could think of every day I was showing up at work with the manifestation, visualization that I become that certain coveted title that I wanted. I would come with it, I would leave with it, I would imagine it, I would imagine how I would feel it. I just generated that feeling that I am that, I don't know, VP of strategy. I wanted the title. And it was purely motivated by the desire to have a higher status, have a higher authority. Nothing else, you know. Nobody else would benefit from it, you know, neither my husband, not MetLife. It was just purely egotistic trip. So that was one. And I also spent years just working my tail off at the same corporate America, knowing that I could do it all. If only I can close the door and work more, something would happen. So I tried to get the title both ways, working very hard, manifesting it, and the gap was still there. It just didn't happen. And I say what doesn't work all the time doesn't work. It's a chance. Somebody could manifest, and somebody could work hard, and somebody could get a wonderful education and get nowhere in life. Somebody could get no education, be rich, filthy rich. Somebody could think of something and it will be done and manifested and finished. And somebody would toil 3 jobs and be as poor as a rat. So the gap is this system. And it can give you anything you want. And I have a quick poll for you guys. But this is my wish list for 2019-2020. And here is everything from a good, healthy relationship with my parents, with my children, traveling the world. We probably traveled more last year than in all the years combined. I was looking for spiritual mentorship, professional realization, peace and harmony, healthy people around me, financial freedom. All is possible. This pen is really a true empty potential, a true canvas, empty canvas that you can draw your life on it. And this is, and I want to know a little bit, about what you came here with. And I created a poll. And let's see if it works. Usually do you see the poll or not? Awesome. Usually people want 5 things. 5 things. We want money. We want relationship. We want health. Usually you start with health. Health, money, relationships. Then, as all is done, which was the case for me, I wanted to know what I'm here for, to align with my soul purpose, why I'm on this planet Earth. Money doesn't make you happy. Relationships doesn't make you happy. More houses, more cars, none of that adds up to happiness. So I wanted to know what else is there, what I'm here for. And when you get to a level when you can pull yourself together, which is the purpose, when you become whole, you want to serve more. You want to give more to this world. And I'm seeing, awesome. We need everything and more of service to the world. What a wonderful group. And everybody's healthy. And this is wonderful. This is awesome. So, but what, sorry. So I just shared results with you. Now, so let's jump into this system. 4 steps, everything simple and not so simple. You should count on the fingers of one hand. How does this work? Dalai Lama calls is compassionate selfishness, and it's good. At the beginning, you think, oh my goodness, this is so selfish. This is good selfishness. This is Aquarius. First step, what do you want? And it shouldn't be like my VP title. My heart didn't want it. My ego wanted it. Mentally, I wanted, and I was motivated by all the wrong reasons. What do you want in your heart? What makes you sing? What do you get inspired when you go for a walk and you wish? Because no desire is granted unless we have resources for it. It comes from your soul. It comes from high above. So, but it has to be something that you really want in your heart. So you come up with that. And for the course that we'll be together, pick one goal, pick something small and work on it, test it, because you have to test it to believe it. Otherwise, you listen to it, it comes in and leaves, and that has no benefit. It's information. If you don't embrace it, if you don't wear it, put it on yourself, it is information. And information is clutter. It doesn't give you knowledge or wisdom. You have to try. something, whatever that you're learning in life. And then you have to put some emotion into it. How would it feel when you healthy? Or how would it feel when you are serving something bigger than yourself? It is the best way to get out of depression when you serve something and somebody, because depression is when we're so inwardly focused on our own problems, and a lot of people are. And there's no out of it. You have to refocus on the other. And most of the people, when they're depressed, they can, but that's the medicine. So what you want and how would it look like? How would it feel like? And I have an example on the next page, and I'm going to show you on my own, so you kind of have the feeling of how could this work. And then there has to be a greater good. Remember where we started with Aquarian age, we versus I. Who's going to benefit? Is it going to benefit my children, my husband, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, neighbors, community? Who is it going to be good for? Other than my own ego. If it's egotistic, I want a title. Then you start planting. Okay, so when we talked about the pan, I told you there is something here that makes it come onto the pan. And that something is what you give onto others in the form of thoughts, words, and actions. You have to give to receive. It's the law of the universe. It's like a law of gravity. Nothing comes out of nothing. What you have is you gave. What you don't have, you didn't. And that is the only way. So, and this is it's called planting the seeds in your mind. You need to find a partner for this. And we will decompose how it all works in the later sessions. But somebody who wants the same. So if Kim wants to serve and I want to serve, then we get together once a week for an hour, and I help Kim figure out how. You don't need to create an elephant here. You don't need to go and get the skills. Service is also always from what you already have, who you already are. You don't need to reinvent the bicycle out of yourself. You can't force this on yourself. It has to be natural. So I need Kim to be able to serve. I need to help. And for that service to be received in the world, I need somebody else that I can help to do the same. So partner, you always need a partner. You always need somebody to bounce your stuff against. It's like an echo. You need a mountain for the echo to come back to you. And that's how it works in this ancient system. And you will see that it is in every spiritual tradition. We just don't listen. We forgot. We don't want to know. So we find the partner and we support them. You don't take your shirt off. You give a little bit. These seeds that we plant are like farming. It is true farming. You give 10%. You give a little bit. You don't give your shirt away. You give $1, and the dollar makes. When you plant a watermelon, you plant it from a tiny small seed, and then you get a huge watermelon with gazillion seeds in it. And that's how it works in the universe. And even in our script, in the Christian scriptures, there's always 10%. Every farmer always leaves 10%. Why? Because he has to plant something. And that's the metaphysical, kind of metaphoric way of explaining the planting the seeds. You don't give a shirt, you give a little bit. Then the third step, you have to find joy in what you're doing. You're not doing anybody a favor. You have to be grateful for another person to receive it from you. And whatever you do, you have to water it with joy and gratitude. Joy and gratitude are fertilizers. they're mandatory. You can give all your life, but never find joy in it, never celebrate that. It will come back to you. It's the law. It is absolute law of the universe. But you want it in this life. You want it yesterday. And then the last step is a big, it's why the spiritual work is so difficult. It is weeding the seed, weeding the weeds that we have in our mind. And that's anger, jealousy, and we can go on and on and on. We all have it. We're human. That's why we're here in the school of life called Earth. You have to weed for the good stuff to grow. And so, does it make sense so far? Does it resonate with you? You can just shake or not. It does. We just need to practice it to make it work. So let me give you an example, and so that it resonates with you even a little bit more. Kim knows me, so there's my husband on the right, and I think we are in Sedona for this New Year's. And we moved to the East End from New York City a couple years ago. And there was a time when my husband spent most of the week in the city and I was here. And I was so happy. The longer he spent there, the happier I was. And as soon as he came, I was unhappy. And he yelled, there was fighting. So it all changed. This is what I wanted. This is literally my goals for 2020. So what I wrote true partnership with my husband. And remember, it's there. I told an intimate connection, and connection of the, without all of this mind chatter in the back. I wish he stayed in the city. I wish he didn't come. He's yelling. So I wanted a connection that is true. When I feel a kindred spirit, it's deeply intimate. It's unconditionally nurturing relationship when we can speak the same language and walk the same path. And this is the emotional wrapper that I told you about. Who it benefits? So many. You become a power couple for the world when you get to that level. Because your husband, your spouse, is truly just mirroring you. It's holding the mirror, nothing else, and showing what needs to change in you. So of course he's going to yell. If I yell in the morning to at my kids, he will come and be a messenger and give me right that back. But that's a little bit deeper that I want to go today. So you create a goal, a vision for yourself, and you really need to give it energy. Emotion is energy. It's energy in motion. And when you cultivate whatever you're trying to manifest in your life, for that matter, remember when I told you about the story when I would come to MetLife wanting to be a certain title, I would dress it up in emotion. I was really good at manifesting. I wasn't good at all the other steps, and that took me some time to discover. But charge it. Give it the feeling. Let's say it happens and how you feel about it. Then, under 2, I have my wonderful partners. Think who needs the same, who needs companionship, who needs unconditional partnership, whether they're old, crooked, sick, whatever. Somebody would be there to listen to you. Even if you say the same story a gazillion times over. Who needs the same? I can't say that I want partnership and I will be, planting tomatoes for the school garden. These are a little bit 2 different things. I'll get a lot of crops in my own garden, but relationship I will not plant. You have to give what you want to receive. Remember that you only get what you give. and I want to get that. So I need to find somebody who wants that too. There is no shortage of people who are lonely, want companionship, and this is whether you want partner or you don't, and you want to create a partner or you want to deepen a relationship. If you don't have a partner and you want a partner, you need to find yourself a lonely lady. These are two women. One on the left already passed away. Her name was Millie. Bobby. She was 102 years old. She passed last year. And the other one was Millie. They were roommates in the West Hampton Beach Care Center. And I still go there, and it's been over 2 years, I think year 3. Even in COVID, you can FaceTime, you can bring stuff. There are ways to connect to people. So there are a ton of us who live in apartment buildings where there are a ton of lonely people, or in the neighborhoods, and we never see them. So you don't need to even go to the nursing home if you don't want to. So visit once a week. This is not one and done. You planned, and you planned. And these people connect with you. These people rely on you. You become, trust me, nursing home people, they would see you more often than they see their family. Some of their family they only see once a year, unfortunately. You go like a clock for an hour, once a week. You give your undivided attention. You can't break this. If once a week is too much, go twice a week, go once a month. I can't tell you how. It's your seeds that you're planting. You have to decide to commit to it. And step 3, you enjoy it. You find gratitude in them. One lady is 93. The other one was 102. They lived for so long so that Lena Gurba could show up one day in the nursing home and plan herself an intimate relationship and connection with her husband. They are not giving you a favor. It's not you giving them a favor. They are giving you a tremendous favor. A tremendous. Somebody asks you to do something, they are giving you a favor. They're giving you an opportunity to bounce the seed against, to bounce that you want against, to plant the seed, and just find joy in that. You have to water these seeds if you want to see the results in this life. So before you go to bed, when you go to bed, your consciousness, unconscious mind becomes the most accessible at night and in the morning. So just remember that before going to bed, solve all your personal problems and discussions way ahead before you go to bed. Never bring it to bed, all of these torments and thoughts, never, because that's what you're going to be planting, and your subconscious, unconscious will be working and processing it all night. You want it to work on the good stuff. So think about the good stuff that you've done during the day, or maybe think about 3 things that are your favorite this day, and let your unconscious chew on that. Never problems, never ever. I forbid you if you're listening to me. And never start the day with a crunchy thought, because the veil with your unconscious mind that is not accessible to us, but that governs all of our life, is very thin at those hours. And so it's important to feed it good, only the best. And you do that every night. You went once a week, you went once a month, but you think about it, you rehash it, how the other person felt, how you talked, how good it must have been. And trust me, they prepare, they dress up, they wait, they rehash it every day. There's nothing else to do in the nursing home. There's a TV and a room, and now they're in isolation. It's terrible. So it is good stuff. So think about it. And the last step is the weeds. It's a separate subject, and everybody has different weeds. I work with a certain system called Destiny Matrix, and it helps me see all the weeds. And for Naomi is one thing that blocks her relationship if something blocks. For Anne and me are different. So it very quickly allows me to see what needs work. But there is usually you can tell what you dislike the most in the other person is what you need to work on yourself. It's just a mirror. So the four steps, it sounds complicated. It sounds difficult. Let's just swim in this for 3 weeks and try and test it. Because I really want to give you this. There's really nothing else out there other than the pen, and give what you want to receive. So this is the meat of the system. This is the soul of the system. And I wanted to leave you with, this is one of the ancient, old, he's probably 2,000 years old, Arya Nagarjuna. He is the seer from the East. He was called Arya because Arya is the one who saw the emptiness. Somebody who literally in deep meditation saw how we create reality, how it all comes from your mind and transposes from your seeds in your mind, and like a movie puts itself on the reality, on the canvas of our life. And the seers are called Arya because they saw the truth of their reality and the illusion of this real life that we play in. And this is what he said. He said, money comes from giving, happiness comes from being kind, beauty comes from patience, leadership comes from enjoying your work, peace comes from meditation, freedom comes from wisdom, and love accomplishes all these goals. So there is a lot there. But these are the little breadcrumbs that we need to follow to whatever we need in our life. So how does it feel? A little bit much, but this is good stuff. Please allow yourself to go through this and allow me to open a little bit more. What I would recommend is I'll probably set up a group on 1 Million Meditator page where I will post a video and allow you to introduce yourself and come up with a goal. Write up the goal that you want to work on and see if it resonates with others. And if somebody else has the same goal, pair up, have a meeting, and try to explain each other the pen. It's good. It's really good mental seeds to explain the pen. Just try. I know it's a little bit difficult. And we'll start from that. And next time, I'll teach you about motivation, about the intention. I'll peel it a little bit more because the system sounds very simple. But people spend lifetimes studying it, and I will give you the very cream of the crop of it, very condensed version of it. And I'm sure it will take a long time to open up, and but the seeds will be planted in your mind. So we'll talk about motivation, 4 incorrect motivations that drive all of our life. And that's why we get what we intend. Motivation is the intent. So that will be the topic of the next session on Sunday at 2:00. And I hope you stick around. And thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kim. Awesome. Have a good day. Much love. Bye-bye.